Now, Mitt Romney is not only stinking up the joint for himself. Fortunately, there's good and bad. Let me put it this way. There's good and bad about Mitt Romney being this bad. The good is it's starting to hurt down ticket races. Mentioned the other day that Democratic and independent enthusiasm to vote in this election leapfrogged Republicans that were in head and now have like almost a double-digit lead over Republicans, which suggests to me that a lot of people are going to be voting against Mitt Romney, which suggests to me also that a lot of people who are going to be voting against Mitt Romney will end up voting for other candidates down ticket that I am more likely to like. And that maybe, I don't want to speak for you people, but I imagine you will also appreciate more too, just in general. You got guys like Tommy Thompson now in Wisconsin coming out and blaming Romney for the polls, for his sagging poll numbers. This is bizarre because Tommy Thompson is exactly the guy who you would anticipate would benefit from a Mitt Romney. If I had told you a year ago Mitt Romney's going to run, give me the sort of composite of the Republican that's going to benefit the most from Mitt Romney running, and I would describe someone like Tommy Thompson. Someone who is sort of like a sort of old school, sort of moderate-ish, it's a relative term, Republican. And he's getting hurt by Mitt Romney. So that's the good. The bad news is, and for those of you joining this program for the first time, or returning for the first time in a long time, you should know that I have great concerns about President Obama's stated willingness to cut things like Social Security and Medicare, the reported willingness that he's put these things, reports that he's put these things on the table, not just willing to, has put them on the table for the Republicans. Deals in which have been scuttled in the past because Republicans refuse to accept any new revenue, i.e. tax increases on the wealthy, on anybody. The expiration of tax cuts, however you want to frame this. The closing of loopholes, whatever, however you want to frame it. Any net new revenues has been really the only thing preventing the striking of the grand bargain. And we know that Erskine Bowles, appointed to the so-called Deficit Commission, which never had a report, along with Simpson, Erskine Bowles is supposed to be the Democrat, the liberal. I mean, I don't know if anybody ever made that claim on this commission. He has been an opponent of Social Security, desirous of privatizing it since his time in the Clinton administration. Since that time, of course, I don't think that idea has diminished because when you're sitting on the board of directors of Morgan Stanley, you're probably not too concerned with the idea of all that dumb public money coming in to fill the coffers of the stock market. And he and his organization now have raised anywhere from $25 to $75 million to promote a so-called grand bargain. You'll recall that Simpson and Bowles, their commission never passed the report, so there really was no Simpson-Bowles report. There was a letter from those two guys who were talking about cutting Social Security even though it was not part of the mandate, even though it doesn't create $1 of deficit or debt in this country. Zero. And the one thing that has, to the extent that has mitigated my fears of a grand bargain, is knowing that the Republicans refuse to accept any revenue increases. And then We hear from David Koch, who a couple of weeks ago say we may have to accept revenue increases. And then yesterday, Jim DeMint reported in Bloomberg, we may have to accept tax increases. He walked it back in Politico a couple hours later. But in the meantime, Senator Bob Corker, if things stay as they are, and all the players are generally the same, in other words, we are anticipating Mitt Romney losing, the Republicans not holding the House, the Democrats holding the Senate. Finding a responsible reform for Medicare is the secret to unleashing very productive talks that would put in place a balanced solution to our fiscal problems. If you deal with the Medicare issue, then Republicans are far more open to looking at revenues. To the extent that there is a Medicare revenue issue, and there is, it is a function of increasing medical costs in this country. Cutting Medicare will not make it cheaper for anybody to get health care. It will simply mean that individuals will have to pay more as senior citizens. That's it. And ultimately, to the extent that they end up not paying for those things, or that it drains their coffers, it'll end up being a cost that we have to pick up in Medicaid. And if we don't end up picking in Medicaid because we've made cuts to Medicaid, we're going to end up picking for it because we're going to have to pay for them when they go to the emergency room. So the solution to Medicare has to be one that impacts the cost of medicine in this country. And frankly, we all know what you need to do that, and that is to move towards a single-payer system, move towards a buy-in for more people in Medicare. That's going to be the solution. In the meantime, they will cut Medicare and make middle-class and poor people suffer more. And if they have the opportunity to do the same thing with Social Security, they'll do it there too. The only bright spot there is that we've been hearing a lot of senators, including Harry Reid, and 28 members of the 53 Senate Democrats caucus have signed a letter opposing any cuts to Social Security as part of a deficit reduction package. Sheldon Whitehouse has spoken about this on this program and in other places. So that's your grand bargain watch for the day. Sorry to be a little downer.